What if I told you that Superman once had a power so destructive, it could level everything around him in a single moment? Not heat vision, not super strength, not even his freeze breath. I'm talking about the solar flare, a devastating burst of energy that turned Superman into a walking nuclear bomb. But here's the twist. Every time he used it, Superman lost all his powers for 24 hours. No flight, no heat vision, no invulnerability. He became human. And that's where things got really interesting. Superman's solar flare ability worked like this. After soaking up too much solar energy, he could release it in one massive explosion. Imagine a blinding flash followed by a shockwave that could level buildings. Sounds insanely overpowered, right? However, once the flare was unleashed, Clark had nothing left. No super speed, no bulletproof skin. He could feel pain, hunger, exhaustion, even get drunk for the first time in his life. And in New 52 Superman 40, we saw exactly how bizarre, dangerous, and hilarious this new ability really was. The Justice League wanted to test it. They watched Clark push himself to the limit, first burning through a flare so strong it lit up the battlefield, then collapsing in pure exhaustion. Batman even joked that before Superman sat in the Batwing, he should put on a blanket since Clark was completely naked after the blast. Classic Bruce. At the League headquarters, Superman admitted something shocking. He liked losing his powers for a short while. For once, he could taste food. He could feel what normal humans felt. He could enjoy life's simplest pleasures. To which Batman deadpanned, "The food is the most important part." But testing wasn't over. The League pushed Clark through reflex drills, crushing him with titanium pillars, then letting him absorb just enough sunlight to trigger a smaller solar flare. Clark tried to control it, slowly channeling it through his heat vision, yet lost control again. Boom! An entire level of the Watchtower was destroyed. When Batman rushed over asking how it worked, Clark compared it to a primal scream without the scream. But the world's greatest detective didn't care about the mechanics. Instead, he asked, "So, what do you want for dinner tonight?" Hours later, the League gathered at a tavern in Metropolis. Clark, still powerless, took his very first drinks. And wow, turns out Superman has the tolerance of a flea. Within minutes, he was telling his teammates he loved them, shouting about cosmic threats and demanding cannolis from Italy. A few more sips and he face-planted. By morning, his apartment was trashed, police reports were piling up, and Superman was nursing the worst hangover of his life. But duty calls. He gulped mouthwash, staggered into his suit, and leapt off his fire escape, forgetting he couldn't fly. The so-called superhero landing was more like a human belly flop. That's when trouble showed up. Criminals were attacking a lab with high-tech weapons, and Clark had to fight them powerless. For the first time, laser blasts actually hurt him. A collapsing pillar nearly crushed him. And when he finally beat the thugs using debris as weapons, something shocking happened. Superman was bleeding. For the first time ever, the public saw the Man of Steel vulnerable. Cameras flashed, headlines exploded, and whispers spread across Metropolis. If Superman could bleed, maybe he could fall. And the biggest twist? Lois Lane, watching the news, noticed something strange. Not long after Superman was seen bleeding, Clark Kent showed up at the Daily Planet, bandaged in the exact same spot, one step closer to uncovering his secret. So what started as the most overpowered ability in Superman's arsenal turned into his greatest weakness. The solar flare gave him the power of a star, yet left him more fragile than ever. Superman himself summed it up best. He didn't know if the pain was from the debris, the flare, or the beer. But he did know one thing. He would never drink again. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe for more incredible comic book moments.